Peace Prize in 2005. She's received dozens of peace awards from all over the world. Cindy is a star in Jan Mayer's book, Most Dangerous Women, for her courage to speak the truth to power. I think that's quite an honor. Cindy's also the author herself of 4 books and contributor to numerous other books and publications. Her latest book, Miss America, 10 Greatest Myths of the Robber Class and the Case for Revolution. You can sign up for that here tonight after the program. There will be some refreshments up in Fellowship Hall, and for a $10 donation, she'll send you an email copy of the book that you can print out. You can just keep it on your desktop like I do and read it online or on your computer. But she will sign. We have printed out front pages that she'll sign for you. We also have copies of her other book, Not One More Mother's Child, and she'll be available to sign those also. Her latest book, Miss America, 10 Greatest Myths of the Robber Class and the Case for Revolution, is the one that is available online. Cindy has been on this exhaustive book tour since April and will continue through July. Her goal is simply to talk to as many people as she can, and she supports her tour and her work through donations and sales of her books. So I'm hoping that we can be extremely generous. In addition to hearing her tonight, you can also find her commentary and interviews at the website cindysheehansoapbox.com. The topics range from Iran to Honduras to the recent kidnapping of former Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney and 20 others by the Israeli Navy in international waters. And her interview with McGree-McGuire will be posted to her website this Sunday afternoon, and it will be available to listen to her interview there. While many of us have become tired of continuing to advocate for an end to the war and occupation in Iraq, and we've become preoccupied with so many other important causes, I'm hoping that our time with Cindy will help revitalize the anti-war movement and call our attention back to this cause. I truly admire her for so many reasons, but most of all for the clarity of her message and the tenacity of her spirit. She didn't undertake this mission on a whim or the sideline, but she's been steadfast in calling for an end to the war. And I think she will continue until not one more mother's child is in harm's way. Please welcome Cindy Sheehan.
Makes me a little nervous being in church, but I'm sure this is a great one. And for the Central Ohioans for Peace, I'd like to thank you, Deb, and for everything you do, and especially Connie. Where is she? She went to go get me water. Because Connie emailed me and said, Cindy, can you come to Columbus? I was just in Cleveland, diverted to Pittsburgh, and I came here to Columbus because, God forbid, I have a day off. So I have to fill every day up. And I just have a few things about my introduction and stuff. I will be on my boat tour through October. Keeps on adding and adding and adding. And as a matter of fact, I just put some dates for May. So I want to make it so I don't have my... Okay. And then Connie said 10,000 people came to stand with me at Camp Casey. It was 15,000. And in 26 days, we had a map of the United States, and every time someone came, they put a little pin where they're from. We had to have 2 maps that year, that summer, so everybody that came could put theirs and could show where they were from. And we had people from all over, not just the United States, but many people from other countries came. I think our farthest away person who came just to come to Camp Casey was from Australia. So yeah, it was a real awesome yet stressful time of my life. So what I think I'm going to do tonight is talk a little bit about my book. Then I think I want to read a chapter out of my book. It's a very short chapter. And then we have time for questions? Okay. Then we'll do a little bit of Q&A. Well, one thing that nobody ever mentions when they introduced me, something that I've spent like the last year and a half of my life doing, is running for Congress. And it's like, I ran a serious campaign, a dedicated campaign, a committed campaign, a stressful campaign. We raised $650,000, and I came in second out of a field of 7 candidates. I was the only independent or declined to stay. I got 50,000 votes against the Speaker of the House, but nobody ever, says that I did that. And that's why you guys haven't heard about me for the last year and a half. Because there was a concerted media effort to block my campaign out. And so people say, what have you been doing? I thought you retired or something. I said, no, I've just been working the hardest I've ever worked in my whole life. So I did run for Congress. This is an audience participation show. Anytime I do say Nancy Pelosi, you must say, or boo, because I did run against Nancy Pelosi. That was all right. I'll help you get better. I did run against Nancy Pelosi, and she is a disaster. And so my experience running against her kind of crystallized everything I've been doing since my son died. When Casey died, at the point Casey died, I was against George Bush, I was against the war, I always was, not just when Casey died. I was even against invading Afghanistan. And that wasn't a mainstream position. Even many members of the peace community today, or not the peace community, because if they were the peace community, they would be against Afghanistan. But many members of the anti-war community today say Afghanistan was a just war. I have many people, after my event, they'll stand up and they'll say, well, Cindy, we shouldn't even talk about Iraq anymore. Because it's almost like they get their script, because it's almost the same exact verbiage. We shouldn't even talk about Iraq anymore because that was a distraction. That was a distraction from the real war on terror in Afghanistan. And so, first of all, we should still be talking about Iraq because that's not over. And sometimes the withdrawal of troops from the cities just entails moving the border of the city. They kept the troops where they were, they just moved the border of the city. And even though President Obama calls Iraq a dumb war, people are still dying over there. Our troops are still there. There's no end in sight. And of course, he always promised to leave at least 50,000 troops in Iraq. And then Afghanistan, so I was telling you about this guy, or the guys, because always a guy. And then the guy will say, well, Iraq was a distraction, Afghanistan's a real war of terror, and then they usually enumerate why we need to be in Afghanistan. We need to be in Afghanistan to catch Osama bin Laden.
Was it 9/11 an inside job?
Hey, I am talking. These people pay big bucks to hear me. So, yeah, right? And so, yeah, you have to let me finish, because if you say crap like that, I get all my train of thought. I can't focus.
Sorry.
So one of them is we have to get Osama bin Laden. Isn't Osama bin Laden convenient? One of these days I'm I'm waiting for the news to say he's hiding in North Korea. Because, they really would like to bomb North Korea, too. Another reason that we need to be in Afghanistan is stop the opium trade. There was no opium trade before our invasion.